My name is John August. I'm the author of Arlo Finch and the mystère de le long Bois. Did I say that right? All right. For a movie generally is coming up with the script for filming it. Basically, it's the blueprint for making the movie. So it's all the scenes, all the characters, all the dialogue, really just the overall plan for the movie. And the director, like Tim Burton, goes off and does all the detail work to figure out who's in it, every scene, every shot. So it's really the master planning it for a movie. When I write a screenplay for a movie, I'm only able to talk about what the characters can see and hear. So it's very much like you're sitting in a theater watching it. I'm just describing what you're seeing. When writing a book, I can go inside the characters' heads and show you what characters are thinking. I can talk about moments that happened just before now or dreams they had. There's a much richer experience you can describe as a novelist than you really can as a screenwriter. I'd had the idea for Arlo Finch for many years, but I wasn't sure if it was a movie, a TV show, or a book, or if it was a book, who it was for. Was it a book for adults with a kid as the main character? It wasn't until I had a conversation with another middle grade author named Kenneth Opel, and he was describing the book that he had just written, and I suddenly understood, like, oh, I should write this as a book with a 10-year-old boy as the hero of it, and really write it from his perspective. Once I understood that as a genre, it was very natural that Arlo Finch should be a book. I grew up in a town called Boulder in Colorado. It's right at the very edge of the mountains. And with my scouting troop, every month we'd go camping in the wilderness. So we were, in the snow in the winter, in the heat of the summer, all these different places. And so I had a really good sense of what the natural world was like. So for me, writing Arlo Finch in the woods felt very natural. When you're that age, some of the things you're able to do as a scout kind of feel like magic. I could make fire out of nothing. I could tie these knots. I just wanted to take that experience and push it a little bit further into a place of real magic. Of all of the Longwood's powers, I think the thing I want most is a snap light. So to do a snap light, a ranger just takes his fingers, rub it together, and then you throw a light like that. It's incredibly handy just to be able to have light whenever you want it. So when it's the middle of the night and you're trying to find your way to the bathroom, to be able to throw a snap light would be incredible. So that's the thing I would want most of all. Books growing up were mostly fantasy books. So things like The Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, The Chronicles of Narnia. Those are the books that really sort of took me to another world. And honestly, when I was camping as a Boy Scout, a lot of the books I was reading by flashlight were those books. And so Arlo Finch is sort of a synthesis of my experience being out in the woods and being deep inside a book. Really anything where characters are traveling off to a second place or having sort of those grand adventures were the movies I went to. So I loved my James Bond movies where characters could be spies. I loved my comedies, but it was really anything that had sort of like that bigger scale and sort of was able to create its own magical world. Those are the ones that I really gravitated towards. If I could meet any fictional character, it might honestly be Atticus Finch. So Atticus Finch is the father in To Kill a Mockingbird. And so To Kill a Mockingbird, the story is told from the point of view of Scout Finch, who's a young girl growing up in the South. But her father, Atticus, is an attorney who has to defend somebody in an incredibly difficult case. And what I loved about the book when I read it as a kid, but also when I read it as an adult, is there's a man of like real principles, a man who sort of could do what was right even when things were really difficult. So it'd be fascinating to meet what that person is like in real life. I suspect as a man of great integrity. So I'm writing the 3 Arlo Finch books. So the second book is finished and ready to go. The third book I need to start writing, but I'm still also writing movies. So I wrote a musical for Disney, and I'm trying to write another musical for Paramount. So I love writing stories where characters can sing their inner lives, and so those will probably be the next 2 movies. So I would say as you read Arlo Finch, you might want to keep in mind that I actually wrote most of Arlo Finch here in Paris. So I was living here for a year, and so every day I would sit down in my little office in the 7th and get started on this book that takes place all the way back in Colorado. So I hope you'll notice a few little French things over the course of it. There were small little things I would see just in daily life living here in Paris that became important parts of the book. So if you can catch them, I hope to see them.